making up most of the Arabian Peninsula, with 9 ports on the Red Sea and the Gulf. Saudi Arabia is well situated to become a center for trade and commerce. Home to 32 million, with nearly 70% under the age of 30. Saudi Arabia's young and growing population will drive strong consumption growth for decades to come. More than 80% of Saudis live in urban cities, and 88% own at least one smartphone. Saudi Arabia is the largest economy in the Middle East, with annual GDP of about $678.5 billion. Current demand for U.S. services and products is over $26 billion. By following the master plan outlined in Vision 2030, Saudi Arabia is diversifying and growing the private sector by accelerating policy changes and reforms. Expanding private sector investments in healthcare, education, entertainment, and tourism industries creates many opportunities for U.S. companies. Saudi Arabia is paving its path from an oil-dependent economy to a Middle East hub of international trade and commerce at the crossroads of Asia, Europe, and Africa. So why should U.S. companies export to Saudi Arabia?
The interesting thing for American companies to understand is that, one, as I said, it is the largest market in the Middle East for American exports. 2/3 of the world oil reserves proven oil reserves are in Saudi Arabia. This is a market where most of the people have an affinity to the U.S. products.
Primary reason would be, of course, the long history and association with U.S. companies, and Saudis really, as a number one choice, prefer U.S. companies.
You know, the budget of the Saudi government is in the hundreds of billions of dollars, and none of those countries anywhere else in the world is spending the kind of money that Saudi Arabia is, not only on its own infrastructure, but also on buying things. Saudi Arabia has a vision for the future. You know, women can drive in Saudi Arabia now. They're starting to open movie theaters. They're opening amusement parks, which is all a big change from where Saudi Arabia was. The focus now of the country is to look at diversification, healthcare, high tech, a defense industry. Perhaps an automotive industry, infrastructure development, transportation, be it air, sea, and land. They're building railroad. They're building. Saudi Arabia has the largest opportunity in minerals.
There are bountiful opportunities for U.S. companies specializing in water, wastewater, and desalination as such. Saudi Arabia is also the largest producer of desal water, with about 35% of global capacity.
We're just going to leapfrog and get the type of technology that helps us be in the next generation. That provides an opportunity for entrepreneurs, not just in the U.S., but also in Saudi Arabia, to use e-commerce. So I think there's an opportunity for American companies in the cybersecurity arena, in the telecommunications arena. You will continue to have an opportunity in oil and gas. Saudi Arabia continues to produce 10 million barrels of oil per day, and you need a lot of services that primarily American companies have provided.
Saudis prefer more face-to-face contact with companies rather than phone, fax, email. So, repeated visits by U.S. companies to the region, establishing a bond between the partnerships, and a long-term association is what Saudis prefer. And
they want to get to know you. They want to know that they can trust you before they do business with you.
Saudi Arabia is, undergoing large-scale industrialization and urbanization, so there are bountiful opportunities for companies, especially U.S. companies in the field.
So if you're an American company looking to do business overseas, this is the market for you.
Want to learn more about exporting to Saudi Arabia? Explore the Saudi Arabia Country Commercial Guide on Export.gov, or connect with a U.S. Commercial Service trade professional.